to another episode of Pointless Discourse. This week, everyone voted on Twitter for the topic. It was Beatles songs versus Saturday morning cartoons, and you guys voted Saturday morning cartoons. So, myself, Hoppocalypse and DPayne.
Vitayu. That's hello in Belarusian.
Belarusian?
Look, I've heard these words said. Never read them. Look, okay, you know what? I'm going to just send how I see this word right now. I'm going to post it in the chat so everyone can see what I read. Here we go, everyone. Enjoy this. So now I'll spell it out for everyone listening. Now tell me I was wrong. It's spelled Belarusian. Belarusian.
Russian has two S's.
Listen here, I failed an open book spelling test.
Because you said it, and I was like, oh, Belarus. But then you said Russian, and I was like, is that the way? You could be right.
Belarusian? She's Russian over to whatever, vampire sparkle butt.
But yeah, so we'll be talking about our most and least favorites in the topic, and announcements for this week, DPayne.
Yeah, so something that we've been saying for a little while is if you tweet at the podcast, we'll read it up on the next episode. And so we have a tweet from @DizzyBaku that says, I missed @Pointless Disco talk about #Katana Zero. Wah! And then he has a screenshot of listening in there. Yeah, so that's definitely about last episode when we had Rainbow Life Right. Once again, Rainbow, thank you for joining, and everyone that came in on there. We talked about indie games, and just shows that there's another person who loves Katana Zero, which Katana Zero is fantastic. People should play it.
Yes, and for a tiny little bit of extra shout out, I do happen to know Dizzy, awesome content creator from New Zealand, plays a variety of games. I think fighting games might be his latest thing. I'm not sure, but sometimes I do have him on my stream when the time zones align.
When do they align? When one of you guys are awake, or well, I guess both
of us are awake and not working.
Yeah, that'd be a little weird. It'd be a little weird if
only one of us is awake.
Only one of us awake, and we're on the other one's stream.
But yes, appreciate it, Dizzy. And then I think you mentioned to me we have some additional listeners.
Yeah, so we'll start in the U.S. because that's where I have it open. Thank you, listeners from Missouri. New listener. There was one I told you earlier, but then I realized they were already mentioned. And then also, welcome New Zealand to the listening crew, where I'm also now realizing that I need to pay more attention to this list and not just scroll down to the bottom because it goes in percentage order.
And not alphabetical.
Yep, because listener New Zealand, you skipped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other countries to get into the 5th spot. Welcome. I'm pretty sure that was it.
Okay. So yeah,
I'm trying to think if there's anything else, and no, we don't have any other special guests that are coming on. No one's doing any charity thing or special event. Yeah. Oh yeah. So that's all I have.
So yeah. I was gonna say we can move on then to our dice roll, which we haven't done in a bit since we had a guest and then a special podcast. Or no.
A special podcast?
No, the werewolves was 2 podcasts ago.
Yes, 2 podcasts ago. Okay, so this makes sense. Yeah. I'm checking something right now to make sure if one of those things that was on the list. Okay, good. I was making sure the count was right on in the sheets, in the Google Sheets, because I now start count how many times it's been skipped, and I was like, is that right?
We're doing accounting, guys. Sorry.
Welcome to
But
behind the scenes.
yes, so now we, for anyone who's new here, we roll dice to decide who talks first, and the loser's roll decides if we talk about our most or least favorites first. I'm gonna guess I lose this week.
Well, I didn't know we officially started, so I was rolling, and then I just kept rolling, and then as soon as you said that, I was like, well,
Did it roll off the table?
no, it's here. Natural one.
Oh, I got a 4, so I did not lose.
Yeah. Well, I went from a 17 and you were still talking, so I just kept rolling and I'm like, and then it was like, I think I lose, and it went boof, 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 one. I'm like, nope.
Okay, and then you landed on an odd, so we talk about our least favorites first?
Yeah. Oh, this is probably where it's gonna get a little controversial.
That's fine. All right, so
You know, I'm switching my two answers.
like it would have been funnier if we went the other way, because I kind of have one that I have like an honorable mention to runner up, so I guess third worst for me. But it's not because I actually watch the show or because I actually care about the show or any of its lore, and this will offend people. I know I've offended many of my friends, but
Dishonorable mention. That is an excellent way.
yes, dishonorable mention. And it is Digimon. I may have mentioned this before in like streams and talking with friends, but when I was young, I was like 200% Pokemon. Like, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it, and it was a big part of my childhood, a lot of my gaming experiences, and like trading cards and collecting. And when I heard Digimon was coming out, I was like, oh, cool, they just copied Pokemon, but they needed digital. How cool. So I just refused anything relating to Digimon. And my friends would be like, hey, this is cool. And I was like, no. And they were like, will you watch this with us? And I was like, no. So that's a personal bias. I have nothing to talk about in like context of any reason why I dislike it other than my astrological sign is a Taurus, and my Patronus from the Harry Potter quiz is a bull. So I'm going to take it that I'm double stubborn.
Oh, that's the ghost animal.
Yeah, your ghost animal from Harry Potter.
I took that quiz once.
I think you were a hyena?
Yeah, I'm a hyena, which like apparently like whenever I tell big Harry Potter fans of that, they're like, that ain't good. I'm like, I don't even know what it means. I laugh at you and ghost.
I laughed at you and ghost. It's also a weird time to be a Harry Potter fan. Well, I guess it depends where you live in the everything with J.K. Rowling. But we're not that serious of a podcast. I don't even know if you follow up on it at all. I'm sure you.
What, our podcast?
No, J.K. Rowling and all the.
I
all
know
of
there's
her
some
shindigs.
issues, and I'm like, well, didn't really care about her to begin with, so bye. But no, I've heard. I had the talkings and not so much whisperings.
Oh yeah, it did become a big thing on streamer Twitter because there is a game coming out, so there's a lot of.
Yeah, I heard about it a lot in different podcasts, and I was like, I didn't think the series was that good, guys. Like, read Dune.
Oh yeah, the trailer came out for your new movie.
Yeah, I don't watch trailers, but I'm like, I already know what happens, so I probably should just watch it.
It's a bunch of attractive people and
even better.
They got some big names on it. But anyway, but yes, so Digimon is, as someone in chat mentioned, is my dishonorable mention. Thank you for that. Great to have a live audience to help you out sometimes when you're stuck.
Yay!
Yay! Clap, 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 clap. But my actual runner-up is Smurfs. They make me so uncomfortable.
They came out with one of those those movie things.
Cause like I don't know what it is. Like I don't know if it's just because it was an older show and generational kind of thing. Like I didn't understand what the point of the show was. I just remember like angry blue people yelling at each other and then going, fine, we'll work together finally, and then doing something. But I never like got joy out of watching the show.
Yeah. There's one thing I remember about Smurfs, and it's not even from the show. You ever watch Donnie Darko?
Yeah.
There's a whole like scene in that movie where Jake Gyllenhaal freaks out at his friends because they're all like, "Yeah, man, I want a Smurf fit," and he's just like, the concept of Smurfette doesn't even make sense because they all think that they're gonna have sex and all that. But like, if you look at Smurfs, Smurfette wasn't even a real Smurf. They're all asexual. It doesn't matter. They don't. And he's just like, he starts freaking out, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, okay. And so I always remember that little mini freak out. I love that movie.
It's a good movie.
Do we have favorite movie things on our topic? Oh no, I can look at that later. But yeah, and then okay, hold on. Everything I remember about Smurfs has nothing to do with Smurfs. There's also that meme that went around where there was like, oh, Smurfs are actually green. Your computer, your TV wasn't set up correctly.
So it's like how I mentioned last week about how like tricks are for kids. That's why we don't see the shapes anymore.
Man, that'd be great if it was true.
So yeah, I just looked on the wiki because like personally I feel like I always like caught the show and I didn't understand it and I would change the channel before anything, and I felt like if anything made me want to change the channel, I feel like it was probably a good contender for being shows I didn't care for. It says that the storylines tend to be simple tales of bold adventure, and the cast has a simple structure as well. Well. Almost all the characters look essentially alike and are mostly male, short, with blue skin, white trousers, with a hole for their short tails. They have tails?
I'm looking up a Smurf. Sorry, I'm too busy to look this up on my phone. You guys are going to hear typing today. Spoiler alert, we're both tired.
Yeah, but yeah, like... And yeah, they have like the kind of like a Seven Dwarves kind of thing where it says most of the Smurfs.
Oh, they do have tails. Sorry.
They fulfill simple archetypes like lazy, grouchy, brainy. Like, I don't know, like it just didn't. But apparently it was comics before it ever turned into a show.
Like a Berenstein Bear? Or Stein, whatever they're called.
No, those were books, right? I think these were like comic strips, kind of like what is it? I used to read something like Garfield.
Yeah. Oh, there's a like Scottish one. I'm like looking at pictures now.
Yeah, I had no idea that they had tails. Like, did they get rid of the tails in the mod? Oh no, they have the little ball tail. That sounds a weird description.
They have the bunny tail.
Yeah, the little floof.
Yeah. Except this doesn't look like a floof. This looks like something that would be very uncomfortable to sit on.
They just always sit like forward, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like it would always come up as like something on TV, and I was always like, nah. I don't get it. It's not for me. And all I know now is that when I hear people talk about Smurfs, it's about people who have new accounts that are lying about their level.
Yeah. That's may have been what I first thought of when you mentioned Smurfs. I'm like, wait, no, that's not the topic.
Names to call people when you think they're better than their account implies.
What I'm liking about scrolling through this right now is the fact that you find definitely the fan art ones where they didn't realize there were tails.
And they just left them out.
Yeah, they got regular bottoms. Oh, there's Gargamel with his cat Lucifer.
Oh, right, because the movies have like a live action component. Or was he also in the animated series as well?
He's in the animated series. Like, he was the original, like... I forget what his whole goal was. It was supposed to, like... I think it was to take the Smurfs and, like, pretty much drain their essence to have eternal life or something. I don't know. Like, there was a whole process of what he wanted the Smurfs for, which the whole concept of Smurfette is... I'm looking for the name because... I forget what his name is.
Yeah, I just looked up his wiki. His main goal in life is to destroy the Smurfs to turn them into gold.
Gold. Okay, yeah, I knew it was for some sort of benefit, but yes, Smurfette is a creation of Gargomensch or whatever his name is.
Gargamel.
Gargamel. Yeah, I immediately forgot his name. So, yeah, and so Smurfette isn't even a real thing.
I liked this part of his wiki. Not much is said of Gargamel's relationships with women, although in one episode, an ugly witch named Hogatha turns herself into an attractive woman to seduce Gargamel in order to steal a magical earring from him, which he bought for his mother's birthday.
Yeah, I was looking at that as well.
I just like the sentence, like, there's not much to be said for his relationships.
Oh, one time Gargamel almost got married.
Oh.
That's all it says on that. Oh wait, okay. His mummy decided that it was high time he took a wife and introduced him to a baron's lovely daughter, Andrea, who who did not really love him. He did not really have any feelings for the girl. Wow, this description right here, like I don't feel like reading it anymore. But it's like it feels like those English like classes where they have you like look into every different aspect of something. It's like, why do you think that person said hello to that character?
What does this mean? What is the
Like,
deeper meaning?
yes, it cracks me up. Like, I know I've seen a few since TikToks are now making their way over to Instagram. I think I've seen like a few of them on there, but I've also seen like a few like things on Twitter as well, where they're just like, so it's like English teacher or professor. The shade, the whatever they're called, the curtains were blue because because the character is going through deep sorrow and is just sad on the inside but doesn't want anyone to know on the outside, and that's how the author decided to show this sadness. And then it and then it goes like author, bing bam blue curtains.
That's funny. I read a little bit more. Sorry, this Gargamel thing is fascinating to me because I don't, I guess I never watched enough to see him as an antagonist, or I just never finished an episode. It says sometimes he wants to eat the Smurfs, while other times he wants to use them to make gold, and still other times he has even more bizarre uses for them. In one instance, he's so mad, he shouts, "I don't want to eat them. I don't want to turn them into gold. All I want now is to destroy them." And then below that, it says that, like, the way he's discovered the village, like, accidentally, Papa Smurf will cast a spell, so he can't come back. The last sentence of this paragraph is, on other occasions, Gargamel would leave a pheromone trail from the village to his house, but the Smurfs knew to sprinkle cinnamon on the path to keep him from retracing it. Is he an ant? Is that not what ants do to find your food and go back to their nest? Their anthill?
Oh, apparently, rarely, only a few times in the series, Gargamel acted on the same side of the Smurfs. In the Fountain of Smurf, Papa Smurf becomes a Smurfling. And the only way the Smurfs can get him back to normal is with Gargamel's help.
Wait, what's a Smurfling versus a Smurf?
I don't know.
Is a Smurfling a baby Smurf? This lore is too much for me.
Oh no, oh, whoops! I clicked the wrong thing. Hold on, I'm looking it up right now. Smurflings. They look like hillbilly Smurfs. Smurflings are a group of 4 young Smurfs who are so he became a child? Is that what it was?
I guess. The boy Smurflings were originally adult Smurfs who were de-aged to around 50 years old due to Father Time's backwards running grandfather clock. Oh my brain.
I'm glad we're reading the same article. Like, I was reading that and then you like said it out loud.
My brain hurt.
They were in a band.
Anyway, so yes, I'm gonna put my runner up. My brain hurts. I'm sure there are people that enjoy the Smurfs. The Smurfs are a long running series and a part of culture, but oh my goodness, I don't. It doesn't resonate with me. And every time I saw it on, I was like, ugh, no, it's not for me. Change channel.
All right. Well, I just want a Smurf episode. Like,
But
what is our favorite and least favorite Smurf lore?
I'd have to do so much research because I think the comics were out they're pretty old.
Number one would be number one worst, and number one best would be Gargamel.
Yes. The publication date of the Smurf comics it was a French series in 1958. So there's a lot to go off of there.
Look, so Smurfs, they were doing that while thinking Donald Duck cartoons was like literally changing the world. Like, for people who don't know, so when they found the Titanic, they were like, "Well, how are we gonna get it up?" And literally, this dude remembered, "Oh man, you remember that episode, that like one cartoon short when Donald Duck found a sunken boat and just decided to just pump it full of ping pong balls and it floated to the surface? You think we can do that?" And they're like, "Oh no, let's try," and it worked. Like that's just one. There's a cracked article that was just like the ways Donald Duck changed the world, and there's like I don't know, it's either this dude was the author of it was a time traveler and was just giving truth, because like I think they like even gave an idea for like curing something in there that helps spurred the I don't know. There's just like
Things you
it's
would
like
never
how
expect. Yeah.
yeah, but it's not like the Simpsons level of thing where there's just so many episodes that reality just seems to like go alongside with it. It's like very specific things, and people are like, "Do you think it works? Oh, let's try it." So yeah, I'll have to see if I can find that article somewhere. It's a fun one.
Yeah. If you find
But
it, note to put that in the description. Haha.
nope.
Okay.
The funny thing is, I wrote the note that for to write love on her arm in the last thing, and I like I actually got the whole episode, and everything. I was like, "This is good." And I sat down, I looked over to my left, and was like, "What's this?" Oh shoot! I didn't. Fortunately, that was an easy fix.
Okay, I did find the cracked article, so I
Ah,
can send it to you on Discord so you have it, and I can read through the things really quickly. Number
yeah,
5, Scrooge McDuck did Inception first. I'm not gonna read into like all of
yeah.
it.
It's a
Uh,
fun read. I have read it.
yeah. Keep scrolling. Oh my goodness, this is a lot of reading just about Inception.
Yeah.
Number 4,
But
Scrooge McDuck inspires the entire opening sequence of Raiders.
oh yeah, it's Scrooge. Scrooge McDuck. It's not Donald Duck, but yeah. So, his impact on culture.
Oh wait, I skipped too far. I missed 3 because there's a bunch of ads in here because
Yeah,
cracked.
because cracked is cracked.
3, Donald Duck invents a method to raise sunken ships,
Oh,
which you
okay. It was
mentioned.
Donald Duck. Yeah.
I think it's just the Duck
The
series in
ducks.
general.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2, Donald Duck discovers a new molecule 20 years before science.
Yes. I remember that one.
And number 1, Scrooge McDuck created manga. Wait. uh,
So there we go. We'll put that in the show notes if you guys want to read that. I don't know. Do you want to throw that in chat while I'm sharing my thing so people can also, or if you throw it in the Discord, I can copy and paste it while you're talking about your next one. Oh, there we go.
no, that was my runner up.
Okay. So I decided to switch my two bad ones because I'm like, you know what? I think what I originally wrote, I write these down. I don't really think too much about them, but I'm thinking, I'm thinking the one that I wrote in one would probably be a better runner up because I didn't really watch a lot of it. So it's funny. This is going to probably be really close if anyone remembers our childhood cartoon things about how my views on SpongeBob, how my family liked it, and I wasn't a big fan of it. There was a show that came out. And by the way, everyone, I don't have answers like Hop that went back that far because I honestly don't ever remember watching Smurfs, and I don't remember watching Jetsons or Flintstones.
Oh, I don't remember what channel it was, but there was a
Boomerang.
channel. Yes, I did have Boomerang at my friend's house, but I just remember like, you would get reruns on certain Saturday morning
Yeah.
channels.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't remember watching any of them.
I did like the
So
Jetsons.
Jetsons were neat.
Yeah.
But like when I think of Jetsons, I remember the Jetsons movie
Hmm.
where Cindy is like all being dramatic teenager because George Jetson gets the stinking promotion, and she's like, I don't want to be on the space station, and then crashes into this like hot blue alien. She's like, oh my gosh, like who are you? And he's like, well, who are you? And he's like, Cindy. And he's like, well, Cindy, why don't you come to my rock show tonight? And then it pops into like whatever music, and she's like, this is the best place ever. And it's like, of course, Blue Boy's a stinking rock star that she just crashes into. So, yeah, Jetsons was fun, and Flintstones. I don't know.
I liked Flintstones as well.
There's like I don't have negative feelings about it, but at the same time, I haven't watched a lot of it to be like absolutely positive about it.
The live action movie, I have fond memories of, but I feel like I should never rewatch it.
Yep, there's a few things like that I remember. Um, so anyway, um, there was a show that I remembered my brother really liking, and I tried to like it. And the funny thing is, like, when I start reading the description of this, you're like, DPayne, why don't you like this? Because you like pretty much everything the show attempts to do. I just didn't enjoy it. So it's a show called Cubics. Um,
It sounds familiar, and I think I also just refuse to watch it.
so for people who want to know what Cubics, I'll read the plot and setting in a second. But Cubics pretty much is a Rubik's Cube robot that was a bunch of cubes that this guy that would like transform into different like forms and then go solve robot stuff. So I'm just gonna read the plot and setting because for anyone that knows anything that of the silly animation and storylines that I like, you're like, DPayne, that sounds like something you should like, but I didn't. So I'm on Wikipedia, by the way. It says Cubic, set in the futuristic year of 2044, which that's getting close. Is the story of a bright-eyed young boy named Connor with a deep fascination for robots. His father, Graham, doesn't have a last name. Neither does Connor. Interesting. Future governor of last names. Who dislikes all robots and has never been supportive of his efforts. That is, until they moved to Bubbletown, a city with as many robots as people, in parentheses, and the location of Robox Corp. The reason Robox Corp is global success with the EPU, Emotion Processing Unit, is the EPU. That's why they're famous, which allows a robot to develop their own unique personality, just like human beings. All right, now that Connor's dream has finally become true, he finds himself with one really big problem. Everyone in Bubbletown owns a robot except him. Shortly after his arrival, he meets his nosy neighbor, Abby, who sends her flying pet robot, Don Don, to spy on him. Oh, okay. Great.
It feels like you didn't read through this before.
I didn't. No, I didn't. I was just like, I wasn't expecting for all this. Like, I remember the first episode. So yeah, pretty much meets Abby. Okay, I'm giving my own like cliff notes of this. Spy on him. Graham doesn't like the robot spying on him. Who does? Attempts to capture Don Don. During his escape, he crashes into Don Don and knocking him out. Worried Abby, along with Connor, hops into her hover scooter. This is literally the first episode. Rushing for the one place that can fix her friend. Pretty much, he shows up this place. It's called the Bottomless Pit, and the owner of this is like, well, if you want to join my cool robot club, you got to fix any robot in 24 hours. And then the one that you choose is Cubics, which no one has been able to fix. And it has the title as the unfixable robot. And then pretty much the villain of the story causes an earthquake. And after 24 hours of Connor trying to fix Cubics, and he's like, no, I love this broken robot. And then Cubics wakes up and fixes the problem.
Like, I looked up pictures of it and I recognized the robot, but I don't think I ever watched a single episode. I probably saw commercials for it and I was just like, because it looks like it was in the US in 2001, but was originally a Korean show. Yeah. So I have a question. Did the mouths look weird? Because it looks like it was just dubbed over the Korean version. You can't remember?
I don't remember. Like, all I remember is there was like boat Cubics and then hover Cubics, and pretty much Cubics could just turn into like other forms. They're like, oh my gosh, dude, we're having an issue with this. Oh no, I'm gonna fix them. Cubics like, I don't even know Cubics talked. He pretty much gave like Optimus thumbs up, like bada bam, bob boom. Here's your solution, baby. And it's like, okay. And then like, but pretty much all the episodes, like if anyone has played a Mega Man Battle Network game, it's pretty much that, where it's like, oh man, this technology's going nuts. Why? Oh, this person sent out this thing which made robot go nuts. We probably should fix that, shouldn't we? Yeah. So, but yeah, it's like I don't know why, but my brother really liked it. But at the same time, my brother was pretty young when it came out. Like he was probably in the age demographic of this show.
Yeah, it looks like it was released in 2001, if I remember correctly.
That's what the Wikipedia is saying. So, um, this thing went on to 2012. Oh, okay. No, it was just transferred around.
I think it has several games too, is what I saw when I was looking into
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, video games. This doesn't have really cool lore like Smurfs, so
It
sorry
hasn't been
everybody.
quite so long running.
So, oh wow. Here's my favorite thing when it tells you the amount of episodes. Okay, so here's an issue I have. This is something that has nothing to do with what I'm about to talk about. But when episode numbers say episode 101, and I was like, there's 101 episodes? Where's the other 100?
That's
No, that's
season
season
one,
one, episode
episode
one.
one.
And I'm like, oh, what is that?
Sorry, audio listeners. I may or may not have obtained a clock, and I also have plans on fixing a cuckoo clock. Be prepared to hear noises in the background from me.
I really hope that didn't come over and there's just, what is that? I need to put a time code. I want that to be the intro. um, so yeah, like pretty much it's just robot battles, and like these robots are treated like Pokemon pretty much. Where it's just like, hey, Cubics, do the thing, and Cubics like okie dokie and just does it.
Yeah,
Sometimes
I saw
they
something
succeed.
cheesy that said Cubix probably runs on the power of friendship, and that's why he can fix the unfixable robot. And I was like, all right, time to close this wiki. I'm too old for that now.
Yeah, power of friendship is stupid. What can actually work off the power of friendship?
Being able to message someone randomly. Is this what it's like to own a rabbit?
Yep. You answered though.
I did answer. While I think it would be entertaining to have a gritty Christopher Nolan reboot of Cubix, I feel like the more realistic reboot would be a Michael Bay one. Because, you know, Transformers did it, so
Just
Cubix
explodes.
is next. Yeah.
Cubix just explodes.
No, he doesn't explode. As he transforms into a boat, then he, like, lands on the water, causes massive tidal waves, and destroys city.
But I want
Boom.
the animation to be the same.
Good old, we'd finally discovered how to 3D animate, so we're gonna make these weird shapes.
Yeah.
2000s was the time.
Yep. And now, like, I don't know, like, I kind of like the fact that they just go all in with the whole world, because it's a little bit jarring to I know they do this in the Berserk movie where there's drawn animated people and then all of a sudden there's CGI soldiers running around.
They do that in quite a few, like,
Yeah.
animes, yeah. Like, they'll do some background characters in CGI, or certain fight scenes in CGI, and it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I was reading something where they said there was an anime thing where like the only CGI stuff was like magic effects. So it made magic pop out more than like from the world. But I don't remember what it was. But I'm like that would make sense if, because like that's the problem with some of the CGI. Like I'm just specifically thinking of the Berserk one where the armor and everything looks too clean and like too, it doesn't look flexible enough with everything else in there. While I don't know, it's like I like if it was magic effects and just like that stuff should look out of place and weird because magic is flipping weird.
Yeah, that sounds more like an artistic choice and not just like you have funding for CGI, use it. Because I feel like some animes do that where like there's a character and it's like I can turn into a dragon, and then they're like a CGI dragon, and I'm like, oh, You could have drawn that.
It's like, I wish you didn't. So,
Yeah, but
but
anything
this,
else on Cubics or?
no, like it was just I remember my brother really liking it and I didn't. Like this is like I that was this is one of the like I had a lot of trouble like I when I messaged Hopton like, hey, we still good for today. I also wrote I don't remember I forgot to finish my list. I had a really hard time writing these ones up, especially like the ones I didn't like. Like I don't really have really strong arguments for any of.
No, like I don't have anything particularly like strong for it
I
other
now
than
I have some good arguments for the one I put as my favorite.
All
So, so anyway, but
right.
yeah, that's all I have about Cubics. It should just be remembered. Hey, putting this discourse talked about that and never be thought of again. Fast forward to when we have a guest like, I remember the Cubics episode, and it was my whole purpose to get on the show and tell you how great a show it was. And then that's the end of that episode. We'll kick that person off right away. Sorry, future person.
Wow. But okay.
Watch it be my brother. He doesn't listen to this.
You're safe for now.
Go ahead.
All right. So my least favorite is something that I just thought was terribly boring. I remember it was iconic. It was easy to see. I had recognized the name from a lot of other forms of media, like books and cartoons and like movies, I think. And every time I heard the theme song start and saw the yellow coats walk across the screen, I was like, nope, changing the channel. New Adventures of Madeline.
I have no clue what this is.
Do you know who Madeline is? It's like
Is that the?
she's got the little yellow coat and red hair, and she gets into adventures and like does everything against the abbey she lives in France.
Yeah, no, I'm drawing a total blank.
All right, I just remember like I never really liked the character herself because she's kind of that whole. I understand having the kind of character where it's like, hey, I'm gonna go like do things and be rebellious and show that you don't have to like do everything you're told all the time. But like, I don't know, the show was just so boring to me. Like, and there's a bunch of iterations of it if you look into like Madeline in general. Like, I think they said there's an animation in like the 90s. There's like cartoons, there were movies. Like, she's a pretty like established character. But the one TV series specifically that I was thinking of is called The New Adventures of Madeline, which I think is in '95 they came out with some episodes of it.
Yep, I have the IMDb up.
And it's just like every episode is literally just Madeline and blank. So it's like Madeline and the Lost Crown, Madeline on the Orient Express, Madeline and the Dinosaur Bone. Like, I understand, like, sometimes you're just like, Madeline's the main character and she's dealing with something. But at the same time, as a kid, you know, on the old days when you were channel surfing, you would get the title of the episode and maybe like half a line. And like, I would just read it and go, I don't care about Madeline and her dinosaur bone. What does that mean?
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at. Oh, so this would have been on ABC.
Mm-hmm.
I was a WB boy.
I just flipped through them as like different things were on and off. And like, I don't have particular memories as to like why I do. Oh, there's a show on here that I do really like. Sorry. There's like related shows listed that are French. So like Inspector Gadget's on here, but there's another show that I might have as like an honorable mention.
Oh, double honors.
Yeah, but it's woo, almost dropped my phone. Haha. But no, I don't know. I just remember seeing it and I just like I didn't care about the characters. I didn't think it was like an interesting storyline. And it was just like I think she gave me the same vibe as like Annie from what is the musical?
The Green Gables.
No, Hard Knock Life. Little orphan Annie, and it just felt like I was just like, well, she is just. Oh, it's literally just called Annie. Haha, I'm good at things, but I don't know. It's just like an incredibly unrelatable character to me, getting into trouble and going, "What do you mean I'm in trouble? I'm the main character." I'm like. What am I supposed to do as a viewer? Am I supposed to feel sorry? Am I supposed to root for you? Am
I
I
kind
supposed to be the bad person?
I want someone like that in a in like an action anime where it's just like they go and fight and then they get punched and they're just like, I can't lose. I'm the main. Actually, I just realized one
It's
of my.
most animes, actually.
Well, what I was about to
They
say,
don't say it
like,
like that,
no, like
but
I wanted that context, and I realized there might be one coming up that fits that bucket. So I'm gonna stop that conversation there.
oh, is it one of the webtoons you're reading or you read
Oh
or
no, no, no,
comics?
not a what. Like one of the different shows that might be mentioned in this podcast.
Okay, okay.
And I would like to also mention who does in chat. Hmm. Anywho, um, it's really funny looking at this wiki page, not wiki page, the IMDb, because man, everyone looks. I don't know. Okay, and the majority of the people look kind of old because I'm just like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh man,
Oh, like the voice actors
yeah.
or
But
okay.
then it's like I see a picture of someone that's like, kinda. I'm like, well, you kind of look like you're the same age as me in this tiny little picture that I see of you. Hmm, let's click on.
Yeah,
Let's
let me
find one.
see if I can actually get like a episode synopsis instead of me just complaining about it. Because I could just be misremembering what or not Annie. Wow, I'm mixing everything up. What Madeline's character is actually like. But I feel like, let's see. Let's see if I can find a
Well,
character
I
background.
I can no longer call these people old looking because I clicked on one that looked young and I realized that we have the same birthday. We're literally a year apart. So, yep, all these people look the right age.
Yes, they are as exactly as they should be. No
That means
questions
this
about it.
person voice acted in this episode. They were only in 2 episodes. So, when they were 10
Okay, yeah.
or 11,
Yeah,
11 years
Madeline's
old.
part of the a book series. Yeah, so Madeline is a media franchise that originated as a series of children's books.
No, this person was in Hamtaro. Sorry, I'm on a
Oh,
completely different
Hamtaro
thing.
is a good show.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through. I was like looking at this person. I'm like, you're literally 1 year older than me. Who are you and what did you do? Okay, I'm off at Wikipedia and not with well IMDb. Go ahead, continue.
I'm just trying to find like her character arc because like all I see is in the first book it says Madeline gets sick, is taken to the hospital, and has her appendix removed to the envy of all the other girls. What? Oh, she.
This show sounds great.
The book focuses on 12 girls in a Catholic boarding school in Paris.
Yeah, I see pictures of her. She's like, okay, so for I'll explain what I see. There's two different pictures. There's one that looks like she's in a yellow raincoat with a yellow hat, but the top is kind of like cat ears coming out of the top, which I'm assuming is a bow or something. But it's just a very happy child with red hair.
Yeah, I'm
No
just trying
other
to
distinct
find like
actors. She has gloves on too. She's a Mario.
she's a Mario. I just want to know like her character.
Actually, I think I have seen some of these. Like, I don't remember
Looking
anything
at stills
about
of
it.
it.
Yeah, like looking at stills. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw like maybe an episode or two, but never. It never like it never like sunk in. So yeah, okay, I take this back. I think I have seen, but then again, like, what the heck is this
Yeah,
screenshot?
so scrolling through, I finally found a personality for this girl. Madeline has a penchant for mischief, often making Miss Clavel, the caretaker at the boarding school, nervous of her and the other students' well being, though this has considerably been toned down in the animated series, being portrayed as more proper and obedient. While initially indifferent, if not outright hostile towards Pepito at first, the two did develop an amicable relationship afterwards. Madeline is well liked by the other girls due to her ability to take charge and sunny disposition.
Is Pepito a boy?
Yes.
Sorry, I just wasn't expecting yes to be said like that. Because I'm like, Pepito is also dressed different. I'm like,
I just scrolled through, and the first line on this Madeline wiki, yes, she has her own wiki in entirety. It says Pepito is arguably the best supporting character in the Madeline series, as and Madeline's next door neighbor. Well, there's a lot of supporting characters. To say he's arguably the best is
Well,
intriguing
when
to
your
me.
name is in the title, does that mean everyone's your supporting character?
I think so. Hi, I am your caretaker, and I am very important in your life. You're a side character.
Pepito looks like Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, yeah, he's got the haircut.
No ears. Actually, no one in this show has ears. No wonder there's a listening problem. They don't have any way to hear anybody.
But yeah, I just remember I would hear the theme song for this show, and I would just be like, next channel, whatever other channel is on.
um, this one, she's in New York playing baseball, and then two pictures down, she's a sad Sherlock.
Yeah, much mischief. I
Oh,
think
goodness.
I think it was one of those shows, kind of like Magic School Bus, where it was supposed to be a girl and like big imagination, but I felt like her imagination was just get in trouble. Whereas like Magic School Bus, which I also enjoyed. Ooh, excuse me, which I feel like should have been on this list, but I watched Magic School Bus at school and not
Same
like
here.
as a Saturday morning cartoon.
That
But
was educational.
yeah.
Who watches that on a Saturday? Oh, hey, I found the episode when she gets her appendix taken out. They're all in the kitchen, or maybe they all
In the
live in the kitchen.
kitchen.
They're. At first, I thought it was a hospital because they have all these cots set up, but no, there's all these kids living in the kitchen. Here, I'll.
I don't want to know that she got her appendix taken out in the kitchen of the boarding school.
That's why her being mischievous and like disrespectful went away. They're like, remember when we took your appendix out in the kitchen? We made everyone watch.
Nobody disobeys me now.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. So like as I looked at that show, I don't remember anything about it except like there's one shot in there where it's like they go into a place and it looks like kids are in like a suit of armor. And it's like that seems familiar. Do I remember anything about it? No.
Oh boy. But yeah. So my arguments are not valid, I think, not good, but I know it was one of the shows that I would hear start up and immediately change the channel.
Don't worry. Your argument is about to seem a lot more valid when I give my worst. So, but yeah, is there anything else you wanted to share about it, or?
Nope. I think that covers about all I can cover about from what I remember.
Okay. Interesting. I'll just leave that up there. There's some like I was like that name seems familiar, and I clicked. I'm like, oh, my number 1 and 2 are tied together in a way I never thought.
Ooh.
So yeah. Okay, guys, prepare for your disappointment hats to be affixed because my number 1 bad is well, I wrote down 2 for this one because they kind of are in the same vein to me. And it might have already been mentioned. I wrote Pokemon and Digimon.
I love Pokemon.
So here's the thing. I like the concept of Pokemon and Digimon. I like the monsters and creatures that are in there. Like I like, even though they're a little bit different, like, and like even though like whatever, but it's still like, hey, here's creatures. They're cool. They do fighting things. Neat. But I could care nothing about that world. So I'm like I'll go off Pokemon a little bit. Excuse me. I'll go off Pokemon a little bit more because I don't know. Like Digimon, even though it was like I don't even know anything about Digimon except for when they came back to Japan, and then I'm like, okay, well now there's this unowned Digimon with a cat with like dinosaur gloves.
Oh, yeah.
And then I just remember the story arc because main character's little brother didn't go to Digiworld or whatever it's called and was like, oh, well, I want a Digimon like Big Bro. And it's like, this one's like, I have a Digi Crystal or whatever it is, but no human. And they're like, want to be buds? Sure. and then that one became an angel or something like that. I also know there's a Digimon that has the ability to fuse light and darkness, and then they're like, how do we animate this? I don't know, just make one of those black and white checkered floor things, and all their attacks is that. It's like, okay. Or just make it gray. But anywho, Pokemon is a little bit of a, I guess, better example where it's just like, as a video game, it makes a good concept for it. Where it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, go around, collect the badges, collect the things, do the whatevers. As a show, which there's a lot of shows that I think like that were based off video games, when they try to do the video game as a cartoon, doesn't translate as well. And it's I feel like this is one of them because it's just like, okay, we went through and it's like, okay, Ash, well, we can't give you one of the main three because Pikachu somehow is the mascot already. So now we got to do that, and it's like, that's fine, that's storytelling. And it's like, well, what are you gonna do? Well, you're such a bad trainer that you have to go and like I don't know, Pikachu somehow has to become OP. But then like the whole thing to me when I was watching that is just like, okay, go to the gym, get the gym badge, get the thing, and you had this incompetent uh Team Rocket that are just there doing their thing. And it's like, do they ever succeed? Like every like once out of every season. But like it honestly, like it just felt like it was humans being mad at humans, and then Pokemon were kind of there. While I know I made this comparison, I think, in the Pokemon episode, but the Pokemon manga, there was times where Pokemon, like, and they weren't just like weird freakazoid giant versions of themselves, would like they they would come through, and it's just like, okay, well, no, we have to like be aware because there's gonna be like a flood of the whatever the rats are and just like destroy the town, or there's literal fire Pokemon over there that are setting the forest on fire. Like we have to go handle that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it put like realism, I guess, in this show because it's like I just remember when Ash got uh oh my goodness, I almost said Firemon. What's his name?
Charizard
Charmander.
or Charmander.
Charmander. Firemon.
No,
Um
that'd be Digimon naming.
yeah, true. It will turn into like a potato when it finally that's the thing I like the most about Digimon. They start off as one thing and in the end they become a tank. So um but yeah, it's just like they just see this Charmander just walking around like even before it rains, and it's just like, dude, that tail is literally fire. Why is this fire not catching anything on fire? And there's probably some deep lore that they're like, well, actually, it's not a real fire. It's just the symbolization of his soul or something stupid. And it's like, no, that his butt should set things on fire. And I don't know. It's just it felt like I don't know the except for like the movies, like when Mewtwo showed up and killed people. Like it felt like Pokemon should be a much more of a threat in this world, or at least be something of concern rather than I'm gonna go beat this animal up and then throw a ball at it.
I don't
So
know.
like,
I have like so I'll say it now. I put Pokemon as a runner up, as like my third honorable mention for my favorite show, but my memories of it are very different. Like I don't know if it's because I am a little bit younger, so when I watched it, I picked up on different things. But like
you're a BB.
the
That's the end of
things
the
that
podcast,
I
guys. No.
the things I remember most of it are like, yeah, all the people were kind of like dumb, like all the humans were dumb and annoying, but I recognize that, but a lot of what I remember from it are like the not weird. Oh, if I say weird relationships, that makes it uncomfortable. But like
Well, you said it,
the
so now that's what I'm looking at the lens through.
the emotional relationships that can develop, like one episode I remember making me cry that will probably make me cry if I actually watch it again because I'm very nostalgic. The Butterfree episode. I don't know if you've seen that one, but Ash has a Butterfree that he raised from a Caterpie, if I remember correctly. but Butterfree have like a migration cycle, and Butterfree fell in love with a rare pink Butterfree, and the only way that Butterfree had to basically like ask Ash for permission to leave him forever, and
Yeah.
that was a whole thing where they were like, "Oh, I've known you for like Ash doesn't age, so I
I
don't
know.
know."
He's eternally 10
He's
years
10
old.
forever, but like,
He killed the Smurfs for their eternal power.
but you know what I mean? Like, he's basically raised Caterpie from being
Yeah.
Caterpie to Metapod to Butterfree, and Butterfree's like, I'm in love, but I gotta go. And Ash is like, that whole, like, well, if you love something, you gotta let it go. And it was sad. There's the
Looks at Pikachu, except you.
Well,
No, I'm just joking.
Pikachu's an interesting one because they kept everyone told Ash that Pikachu has to be better, and to be better, Pikachu needs to be Raichu. But
Yes, I
Pikachu
remember
would,
that episode. Yeah.
yeah, Pikachu would actively get mad at him. So, and then the other episode that I remember clearly is Dragonite, where they have the Pokemon researcher.
I'm not surprised.
No, but I mentioned it in the Pokemon episode. But yeah, you've got Bill the researcher who exists to research Pokemon but not to capture them. And then like it has that whole like Dragonite thing. But then like they double back on their own lore where there's more Dragonites because in the games everyone can have a Dragonite if they look hard enough.
Yeah, no, like
So like
I'm not saying that every episode is bad. Like I don't know. I think the examples you gave I think are very good examples of good episodes. But it's just I guess where I come up
also
is
the
like,
Meowth episode. I don't know if you know that one.
oh, when it shows why he can talk.
Yeah, that episode makes
Yeah.
me sad.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not saying that every episode of Pokemon is like garbage child poo, but there's like the concept of the world as a whole where it's like besides those isolated incidents, like I feel like Pokemon should like be a lot more of a threat than they are. And it could be the fact that it's just
I
like
think it's because the marketing.
and yes, and I know it's not a show for
Yeah.
adults, but it's like it's me
It's you
like
looking back on it.
part of me looking back on it, but it's just like
I just
know,
remember
I'm
being a
weird
kid. I just remember when I was a kid, I used to think some Pokemon episodes were too dark, like Cubone's backstory and the whole Lavender Town Tower,
You mean you don't want to wear your mom's skull around?
and have to go and absolve her spirit haunting a tower from assaulting people so that Lavender Town can stop being doom and gloom. Like I can hear the music from that town from the Pokemon game in my head, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, but like
I think
and like even if it's not like all the Pokemon, like shouldn't the legendary Pokemon at least be like more of a threat than rather like there's that cool bird again, look at him go. Oh,
I think the reason they're legendary is because they're elusive and they just don't want to be found. Like it's that weird like, it's a neat story device to make people play Pokemon long enough to get strong enough Pokemon.
yeah.
So then they
like,
just
oh yeah, in the
they
video
carried
game
it.
it totally makes sense in a show because like in the manga that when they go and talk about the legendary Pokemon, like they literally can't catch them.
Yeah,
And the main character is out for like
I don't.
50 episodes because he like pretty much almost dies.
Yeah, I don't know if
facing it,
they ever. I don't know if in the show he ever captures any legendaries. If he does, I don't remember. I think only in the games.
Doesn't he catch that star? Isn't there like a star one?
Oh, what in like
Piju.
and anything past the original 152, you can't ask me questions about, or 151. I watched the entire series and the movie. I think the last Pokemon movie I watched was the 2000 Pokemon 2001. Pokemon was that the title of it?
Yeah, that was the name, I believe. That's one when everyone cries and they're like, "No, the showrunner's dead." Quick.
No, that was no. I think that's just Pokemon, the movie. I thought Pokemon 2001 was the one with the unknown.
But I don't know. I didn't watch any of the movies.
Yeah, where the legendaries with the dogs, not the birds. Because there's Fire Dog, Ice Dog,
Yeah,
Lightning
I
Dog.
just remember Ice Dog in Super Smash Brothers because it was great just to throw in people and just like sup losers, and then just made the whole stage explode.
But no, so I see what you mean, because like the way you talk about Pokemon is how I feel about Naruto. But
Turns out I just hate anything from that time period.
like for me, like when I
Yeah.
watched Pokemon, I was the right age to not to still be able to connect with that world. But when Naruto came out, I watched it and went, none of this makes sense to me. Why are they fighting about stupid stuff? They have cool Hokage powers that they're training for, but they're too busy trying to kiss each other.
Wait, I missed. I missed the. I just heard kissed each other. Wait,
In
what?
Naruto, they have the
Uh,
cool Hokage powers, but a lot of them just worry about who can kiss who.
yeah. Oh, I was like, I was trying to remember. I'm like, what are we talking? Like, I was like, why? Why is Naruto? Why did that come into Naruto? So yeah, we talked about this on our TFT stream, where Sasakura's boy crazy.
No, one boy crazy. And Ino was same boy crazy, therefore cannot be friends. I feel like growing
She
up,
also hits on Naruto.
because she's a bad person. I heard canonically she also did things with Kakashi, if I remember correctly.
That show's a mess.
But no, like I can see where you say like with the Pokemon universe, it's like, but I think it's because you also read the manga. It's probably also warping it too, where you got to see Pokemon taken in a way that wasn't the happy-go-lucky
Yeah,
10-year-old winning at the world when the world should actually be hard for him.
yeah, it's like because I'm just trying to think because even though is really funny because the reason they took Red out of the manga after he fought what is his name, after he tried to capture Arcuno, is just like they go and find him and then find the ice coffin that he was left in but then broke out. Like they just find like this ice coffin of him. I know I talked about this in the last Pokemon episode, but then they're like, so wait, why couldn't any he come back? Well, it's like it turns out when he was force frozen like that, he lost all his memory, and then also when he was like ripped out of the thing because he didn't have Pikachu or anything. Like I forget who saves him, but like I think one of the fire Pokemon was knocked out and then wakes up after Pikachu is like blasted away. Um, just like melts the back and rips Ash, not Ash, sorry, Red out of the ice coffin thing, and they're just like, so wait, what was wrong with Red? Oh yeah, like he lost all memory until recently. Also, when he was stuck in ice coffin, like, and he was ripped out, he really hurt his wrist and couldn't throw Pokeballs. I was
Oh,
like,
what a lazy
I'm like,
excuse.
but you don't need to throw him. Like, he's got a like, yeah, he doesn't have his mane because his mane's running around with yellow now, which
He has like another hand and he could just like
no, it was
toss it.
both. It
Oh,
was both hands.
both
It was
wrists.
both wrists. Both wrists were unthrowable. Well, not you don't throw your wrist, but they could not handle the power of the throwing.
Could he like hacky sack his Pokeballs?
Oh, now that would be a cool trainer. But then again, it's like looking at like the Pokemon trainers themselves, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't even make sense because like I'm regular 10-year-old, go throw ball, boom. And but then it's like you get a little bit farther, and then there's like the psychics. And then there's like almost like, well, why do you even need Pokemon?
You yourself. Yeah, like the electric
You
gym
are a
guy.
Pokemon.
Yeah, the electric gym guy is like what was he like, essentially ex-Navy. And he's like, "Yeah, I just
Yeah.
have a gym because I like power." And it's like, "You already seem to have a lot of power. You literally
Yeah.
control the power grid of the city, sir."
Yeah. It's like I'm pretty sure if you wanted to, Lieutenant Surge or whatever your name is, you could punch this Pikachu out of existence and then just beat up this child. However, I do remember the creators or someone said like they're like, yeah, this does make sense. Like why do the gym people get harder as you go on or get more Pokemon? And they're like, oh, we gotta close this um whatever it's called plot hole, and it's just like, yeah, well, the gym leaders actually like look at the power of the person that's coming in and then pick their Pokemon like accordingly, so that way they just don't like have like some little easy Pokemon for like someone that's super high level.
Imagine if
I
that
was,
actually happened in the games.
it'd be interesting.
It would make it a lot harder to win. You go like, oh, you've
Oh
got
yeah.
electric Pokemon. I'll come with rock Pokemon. They're like, haha, I have backup water Pokemon.
Well, no, I don't think they changed the type. It's just their team they change like so that what or like how strong they are or however many Pokemon. Because like when you first face Brock, he just has two. He has Rock Snake and Rock Arms.
Rock with arms.
Yeah, and then when you go up to the Misty one, she got Star One and Star Two, and then I think she has
Star
another
me
one.
and star you.
That's what I said. But no, it's yeah, it's just I don't know. But then like as you go on, there's like gyms that have like four. And they get stronger and they're just saying like, yeah, the reason that happens is that they look at you and they're like, okay, this is your ability. Or like they look how many other badges you have and then they like up the difficulty with their Pokemon or something.
I like how in the game they just made it so like you can't even face me until you beat the other guy.
Yeah.
Go back to the other town. You went in the wrong order.
Yeah. But like could you imagine that in real life? Like, oh sorry, you didn't get like a leaf grass gym badge. I don't know what any of the badges are called. And they're just like, but you guys are literally in the town next over. That would take me longer to go down there to grab that, go get it.
I mean,
But
it's just an experience, a very long experience in the DMV. Oh, sorry, you're in line 3. You should have gone to line 2 to get your paperwork. But did you go to line 1 first to pick up the paperwork?
okay, now imagine if you started at gym 8 and they told you, oh no, you got to go at this gym. And they're like, okay. And then you go down to the next gym and you're like, no, sorry, you got to go to this gym. And you go through all 8 gyms backwards. And then you finally, it's like, oh, welcome to your first gym. Are you ready to start your battle? But like by that time, you're like battle hardened and just like, yes, I am. Like, are
It would
10-year-olds
been
supposed to have scars and beards?
sorry.
It's all good. So, but yeah, I don't know. Pokemon World, crazy stuff. Um, and I realized we talked a lot about the Pokemons, but it just shows that that show for children is total nonsense.
I feel like any show for children, if you think about it too hard, my favorite show for children's Invader Zim.
But that makes sense.
Number 2, Courage the Cowardly Dog.
My favorite thing about Invader Zim is in the first episode, it's like, didn't we exile you? I quit. Wait, what?
I quit being exiled. Let me back in.
Yeah, and then it's like it's not even till like season 2 or 3 where you see the planet he was exiled to, and you're like, okay, that makes sense.
He destroys it. But
Well, no, he it's a fast food restaurant he gets exiled to.
oh, that one, right. Sorry. The reason he got exiled was because
Yes,
he
because he
destroyed
blew
it.
up the home planet. I also like how he escapes in that episode too, where he cooks himself into a meal because he can't leave because he has like an exploding like necklace. So he just goes and
He's not allowed to
boom.
go anywhere, yeah.
So okay, we spent a lot of time on Pokemon.
No, that's fine. It's like you said. You knew I wouldn't agree with you.
Oh yeah, I knew a lot of people weren't going to agree with me, but yeah, like as I said, like for Pokemon and Digimon, I like the creatures and I like the concept of what you do with those creatures. It's just how they, and I'm speaking more about Pokemon in this, but it's like the way that world goes forward. It's like I don't know. It's like I don't know. I feel like the Pokemon on their own should be more of a threat. And like I don't know, maybe the world before because like here's the other thing I also have to realize is that when we get into Pokemon, it is well beyond Pokemon year 0 when they couldn't capture or like with technology any Pokemon.
Yes, we are at the point where there were established trainers, professors, nursing stations,
Yeah.
officers.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know. Maybe if it was like Year Zero, where stinking like like just think about you literally catch a ghost. Like that would make TV shows a lot more interesting. But
you could finally catch ghosts.
yeah, I would watch TV.
Instead of the people going, "Did you feel that chill in the air?"
Yeah. Like here's the other thing. Why don't terrorists use more electrocutes? Just tell them to self-destruct. Like, okay, here we go.
Did they? I don't know that they. Well, I guess they claim that they had like similar organizations with different groups, but I don't think Pokemon ever took itself that seriously that it
Well, I know.
decided to jump into that topic.
Yeah, they're too busy. I don't know.
Selling
As I said,
plushies.
the manga is worth reading because like I don't know. I feel like it grounds a lot of things because like I don't know. My other favorite story is where they told kids don't sit right next to the TV, otherwise you're gonna go into a seizure because of the light bright colors.
Well, I mean, they did not air the Porygon episode in the U.S. if I remember correctly.
Yeah, yeah. So oh well, we talked about what we don't like for long enough. Um, so what is your number two, or do you have runner ups for your bests?
I said my runner-up for my best, which is your
Oh, okay,
worst.
yes.
My other runner-up, well, my actual runner-up, I originally was Pokemon. Talking to Strider, I changed it to Scooby Doo
All right.
because I did watch a lot of Scooby Doo growing up. Me and one of my childhood friends, anytime a Scooby Doo movie was released, we rented it from our local VHS rental store. I don't remember the name of the local store anymore. It has since closed, but it was before we had Blockbuster memberships. It was that kind of local establishment. But yeah, like I don't know. Scooby Doo as a whole, I don't even remember, but I think I actually started watching the original ones as reruns. And I don't remember what channel would have aired them, but I just remember it was just a consistent thing. And I just, oh, it's fun, it's goofy, it's ridiculous. I never went in trying to, like, as a kid, I didn't want to solve anything. I just wanted to hear Scooby go rut-row.
Ruh-roh.
And
Yeah.
Shaggy, uh, Shaggy's the one that said Jinx, right? No. Jink, Jinkies
No,
was
Jinkies is Velma.
Velma.
Like
Shaggy
Scooby,
had a catchphrase
Shaggy
too.
was like, yeah, it's like, hey, Scoob, what are you doing? That's not
Zoinks?
exactly, yeah, Zoinks. That's what it was.
Yeah. And then the whole awkward tension between Daphne and Fred, yeah, I didn't care about that. But
Those vanilla characters.
oh no, we have to save Daphne because technically she's got the right trail for the person, but she's in the trap again.
I like. All right, hold on. I'll finish with your point, then.
No, but I just remember like I don't remember any episode of Scooby Doo that I didn't enjoy. Some of the newer movies I feel like have been hit or miss because they keep trying to. I feel like instead of just going through and enjoying Scooby Doo as a series, I feel like they keep trying to revamp Scooby Doo to convince me I should feel some different way about Scooby Doo. Like, I remember watching the live action movie. I forget the name of all the actors in it, but they actually put like magical rituals that cause things to happen. And I was like,
Yeah.
but the point is that they're meddling kids, and it's like the groundskeeper who's jealous of the guy because he's getting replaced.
If I remember correctly, the TV, no, sorry, not TV shows, the movies started doing that as
Yeah,
well.
the animated movies did too. One of my favorite ones was, I think, Cyberspace.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that one.
and that one, yeah, was a literal like electric entity that lived in computers.
Yeah, and in the end, they had to face themselves, but evil. Sorry for the spoiler for like a probably 15-year-old movie.
Is it only 15 years old? I feel like it's
I don't know.
20.
I was just giving a general year. I don't know when it came out.
But yeah, like
Yeah, so
just like the internet IRL. Just fighting our worst versions of
oh
ourselves.
yeah, there's the witches too that keep coming up.
Oh
Where
yeah, I love that song.
and one of them can actually like, or was that
Casts.
one of them can actually can't all of them actually do magic, and it's just like now we don't
No,
let me
actually, no, no,
or
no. They
oh wait no they
can't.
get possessed don't they?
Yeah,
Doesn't one of
that's what happened
yeah
because I believe everyone thought they were witches, and they were like, "No, we're just I forget what it's called, Wiccan."
yeah
And then like Shaggy was like, "That's a witch, right?" They're like, "No, it just means we respect the earth." And they did that whole lesson for kids, like what a Wiccan is versus a witch.
yeah. Fun thing is though, it's like there's a Marvel character called Wiccan, and he's a warlock, and he just casts spells. He also is dating Hulk Jr., whatever his name is. I think his name's Hulkling.
There's too many characters in Marvel.
But, yes. But what I was gonna say is that I think one of my favorite Scooby Doo episodes isn't even a Scooby Doo episode. It's the crossover event with Johnny Bravo.
Yes, I cannot be seen without my sunglasses.
So, and then the whole time he's just hitting on Daphne, and Fred's like, "Hey," getting mad in the corner. Oh man, dude, I love Johnny Bravo so much. He's not a Saturday morning cartoon to me, but
No, but I do know that like Strider, I've caught him and his family making jokes about. I think he was like in the Johnny Bravo episode. They were like, "What are the food groups?" And he said one of them was pants.
there's another episode where the power goes out, and like the he like went to bed at 12, and the power goes out, and like the clock reset to 12 o'clock, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, the time is frozen," and it's just like anytime he enters a scene, it's just everyone's like just frozen. So it's just like he goes outside and there's a traffic jam, but like right before he goes outside, they're all like, "Hey guys, what if we all just look at the clouds, not honk our horns for like 10 minutes?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, okay, that's cool." And they do that, and like Johnny Bravo comes out, he's like, "Oh my gosh," like time's frozen. And then he goes into a restaurant and the light flickers, and everyone's like, "Wait a second, what's happening?" Like the whole restaurant's just staring at the lights, and he just, as the light flicks and turns back on, he goes in and just starts eating everyone's food, and then runs out, and the light flicks over again. They're like, "That's crazy." So it's just
That show was fun. But Strider corrected me in chat. It's garden hose was a food group, not pants. No, Johnny
awesome.
Bravo is a whole nother thing.
I like the episode where he goes into space and he saves the Earth because he doesn't have a brain. Okay, no, we're
Yeah, but no, like Scooby Doo,
going off there.
like
Yeah.
I don't know, like I feel like if I were to try and explain it to anyone that hasn't seen it, I feel like I wouldn't do it justice. Cuz it was for me it was like my first introduction into what's the it's a British term for when they do the chasing. Is it Benny Hill where they do the music?
Yeah, that one.
That was my
Well, it's the Benny Hill theme.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
the
name of the
theme it
song.
is. Yeah. But that whole bit where everyone's running through doors and can't seem to catch each other and then runs into each other and does goofy things and like regrets
Hmm.
it and then yeah, that was my first introduction to that and I used to think that was the funniest thing ever. I didn't care how many times they used that in an episode or in the series. It was just like, "Oh, they're chasing the ghost through the doors and there's 13 doors in the hallway." It's the scene. And all the characters, I feel like it kind of did a very enjoyable thing where none of the characters were written deeply into. If I remember right, in the original series, you
Mhm.
just like had the characters and they just were themselves in whatever situation it was. It's
Yeah. It's like you had your cowards, and then sometimes Velma joined the cowards or the lovebirds, or she's like, "You know what, heck with y'all. I'm just gonna research this myself."
I'm gonna have my magnifying glass
Yeah, but it's just like, she's getting her glasses knocked off, and when she gets her glasses back, it's because the villain handed her her glasses.
because they're too nice because they're not actually bad guys. They just
Yeah.
want to scare people.
So that's lovely. Um so um yeah, but Scooby Doo, like, it was just a very interesting, I don't know, a unique thing. I guess it was just like I don't know. Like it's one of those things like I don't think they'd be able to um recreate now because like they obviously have tried.
I mean, they're still enjoyable if you like you take whatever you want from them.
Like the old one or the new ones.
The new ones when they try to bring it back, like I'll still give them a shot, but it is. I guess they had to add actual spooky stuff happening because like we all have phones now. Like if I ran into
Yeah.
like a weird situation, I'd Google, what is glowing gunk on my ceiling mean? And they'd probably be like, it's probably glow in the dark slime, and I'd be like, yeah, it's just slime.
Okay, so maybe I would still fit in the Scooby Doo world because that wouldn't be my first thing. Like, what the heck is this garbage? And I start poking it first. I probably like, oh, come on, clean it up. And then I remember I'm on the second floor. No one's above me. So yeah, it's like I don't have any like negative memories against whatever it's called, Scooby Doo. It was like, but when I remember Scooby Doo, I pretty much like it comes to mind um immediately connected with going and visiting my grandmother
Mm-hmm.
because like it would always be on. So like it doesn't translate to me as a Saturday morning cartoon, which like but I'm not I'm pretty sure it was. Uh but it's like it always translated itself as like, oh, we're going to my grandmother's house and she has cable. So mom would talk to her mom and we watch Scooby Doo and Two Angry Beavers and Two Stupid Dogs and like all the really dumb
Angry
TV show.
Beavers was a great show too.
So it's great. There's another one that I wanted to put on here that I saw on multiple Saturday morning lists, but I didn't. I've always attributed it to a regular afternoon day when I got back from the beach, which was Rocco's Modern Life. But
Yeah, I didn't watch that as a Saturday morning. I think I just watched that on Nickelodeon.
yeah, so hello, Heffa. It was such a fun show. Um, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I don't have anything else to say about Scooby Doo. I don't know if you do.
Nothing that like stands out other than it's probably like I know I said I watched and digested a lot of Pokemon. Like I watched the original animated series and I watched a handful of the movies. I also still own the first movie soundtrack. Whether or not I can find it, I don't know. But I know in one of my laptops I did upload the album to it so I could listen to it digitally. But
Hmm.
I think Scooby Doo as a whole entire series, I probably watched more of it, considering it was what like in this late '60s is when it came out, and
Yeah.
then they kind of
Okay.
like after that they had like I think I watched What's New Scooby Doo for a little bit, and I also watched A Pup Named Scooby Doo for a little bit, which I almost put Tiny Toons as my runner up if you remember that.
Yes. Yeah, I do remember Tiny Toons.
Yeah, so A Pup Named Scooby Doo is like Tiny Toons, but
Yeah.
Scooby
It's
Doo.
it's really funny, like now that I'm remembering this, because it's like a lot of the shows you're mentioning, like I know of them, but they were also like the cable channel shows. And I was like, I didn't have cable until after I didn't watch Saturday morning cartoons, which is why I'm like, I don't know, probably a lot of these are gonna be the same. But um yeah, I don't know when you had if you had cable growing up or
Yeah, all the
connections
time.
to cable. Yeah,
As soon
so
as Saturday morning cartoons ended, I swapped over to like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon.
yeah, like I didn't have that option. It was like the news came on, I'm going outside now. So yeah. Okay. Well, my runner up, it's my runner up because I actually haven't watched this and like I when it was originally airing, but I've watched it later and it still cracks me up to this day. And it's and I looked it up and it said that it was on multiple Saturday morning cartoon websites of like this ranks up there and it's Freakazoid.
I did not watch Freakazoid. I recognized the art for it, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah. So, um, let's see. I'm just gonna read the background a little bit because like I've watched a few episodes and it cracks me up. But so pretty much it says the show's title character is a superhero's alter ego of a geeky 16-year-old, later changed to 17-year-old, Dexter Douglas, who attends some high school. His name is a parody of various other superheroes. Oh man, does this not just give? I don't want that. Like, where's the lore button?
Who is
But
you?
yeah. Um. Anyway, this just we'll just read this. So yeah, he gains the way he gets his powers is from a computer bug activated by a secret sequence that must be typed in, and that so yeah, he gets his superpowers from the internet, and like he pretty much his whole thing. He's like the Mask, if people are familiar with the Mask, and um and just like he's just like crazy and just like breaks the fourth wall. He's like he's like Deadpool before Deadpool became what Deadpool is now. That made sense because original Deadpool was just an angry dude that just could shoot guns and revive pretty much, and then he went nuts. But but yeah, so pretty much he just tries to like delete this um this like internet like virus thing, and then from there he gets infected with it and gains, as it says on the Wikipedia, he becomes absorbed into his computer, instantly gaining all information on the internet, which gives him enhanced strength and endurance, extraordinary speed and agility, and negligible amounts of sanity. Uh, and so pretty much he's just crazy and all this stuff, and it's just like I remember the first episode I watched that just cracked me up where I'm glad I muted this because my phone just went off. Um, it's, he got invited to prom, or like he was supposed to go to prom, but like he didn't get a date, and so he's like, "Well, I'm not gonna go." And he's just sitting at home, and then like terrorists decided to go attack the prom, or no, bank robbers went into the thing and they were hiding out in the prom, holding everyone um at hostage. And so he's like, well, I gotta go help them. And so what he just says is like he has like a line that he says he becomes freakazoid, and then he travels through the internet and gets there. And so I think what he ends up doing is like calling the school, and he's just like, and they're like, what the heck? And they pick it up, and they're just like, he just travels through the phone line. He's like, I'm here now, and then just annoys and like annoys the bank robbers to the point of just giving up and running out. And they just like constantly just it's literally Looney Tunes like stuff where like they're just shooting him and like nothing happens. He's like invincible. I don't know if he actually ever gets hurt, but except for his feelings. And but then he's just totally like Looney Tunes his way to like kick the like just destroy crime. And apparently there's like a whole bunch of episodes. Um like scrolling down to the episode section. Okay. There's 2 seasons, so 14 episodes in one. So 25 episodes altogether, it looks like. And like I haven't watched them all, but it's just I don't know, just off the wall silliness and comedy while fighting, or not fighting, but just like taking care of like issues like of just fight. Like I don't even know if the show ever gets like to a seriousness, but like it's also in the same vein as like the Animaniacs and Tiny Toon Adventures and Pinky and the Brain. I might have just read that off of the Wikipedia, but it's like it's in that same wheelhouse where it's just like they took the humor and just the storytelling of those characters and put them into um just one character who still shows like, and he has the ability to break the fourth wall, so he'll just show up in other people's like shows. um but as I said, like I don't know a lot about him, and I didn't watch Freakazoid when it first came out, but it like watching it like watch. They have episodes on YouTube, and it just I don't know. It just made me laugh watching it because it's like he gets he gets internet powers and like it at that time when it came out it was dial-up internet, but he still was able to like zap around and move around like lightning and just I don't know. It was just it made me laugh to this day, and I was like, that's a runner up. I wouldn't mind watching the rest of these at some point. Like, what are
Definitely,
these?
yeah, it definitely
Okay.
sounds entertaining. Here's an interesting tidbit, at least from the wiki. It says apparently the one of the creators originally wanted it to be like a straightforward superhero action adventure, with just like comic overtones. But Spielberg asked the Animaniacs team and the other guy to try and turn it into straight up comedy.
Mm-hmm. Which it makes it stand out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it uses slapstick, fourth wall firings, parody, surreal humor, and pop culture references. I wonder how those age.
I don't know, like, because since I was alive at that point, some of them still made me laugh. So it's like I don't know. It's like a segment of time. I don't know how well it was received when it came out because like 95 like I know why I wasn't because and I also know so like it came out in 1995 on the WV, but then it in 1997 when I would have been watching Saturday morning cartoons, it got moved over to Cartoon Network.
Yeah, it looks like they said that they wanted a younger audience, but the demographic ended up being older than they originally expected.
Yeah. It's also apparently they wanted to make a third season, but it was too expensive.
Hmm.
Oh well, at least it's not like it's not Teen
Oh,
Titans.
in
It's the other show.
in 2006, Freakazoid was one of the shows scheduled to be broadcast on the AOL broadband channel. What was that? That was a thing?
I didn't see that.
Into TV was a website offering ad supported streaming video of classic TV shows in the USA only. It was operated by AOL Time Warner as an outlet for the company's archival television programming. Sorry.
It's all good. I was
That was
fine.
just a fascinating fact for me.
Yeah. Well, apparently he teams up with Yakko Wacko Dot in the brain.
Yeah, the one of the writers is the writer for the Animaniacs,
Yeah, and one of the creators is
the DC comic guy.
yeah. Which, hey guys, might be a spoiler of what my next thing is. So, let's see, was he a writer or a creator? He was a creator. So anyway, but yeah, it's sorry, I'm just looking at the other creator, and that's not a very appeasing picture he has on his Wikipedia.
Well, he has no control.
Yep.
Is up to the internet.
I'm also just looking at like the villains that he faced or the enemies. There's a character named Handman. Freakazoid's brief right hand man. Quite literally. Oh, I remember this. It was just a face painted on his hand and it would talk. And so, yeah, that's that's how the prom episode ended, where he was just like, since no one wanted to be his date, he just put a wig on his right hand and was like, yeah, okay, here's my date, and then just started making out with his hand, and that's where that episode ends, as it should. Oh, sorry, no, there's Hand Girl, which is his other hand, and they started kissing, and he's just like, what are you guys looking at? Just like that's how the episode ends. Man. But yeah, there's just like invisible, an invisible smart mouth pharaoh. There's only okay, so he's just a walking Anubis staff. All right, there's some really fun characters. There's there's a villain called Deadpan, a plain-looking, almost blank-faced female supervillain with a monotonous voice. She's a shapeshifter who once tried to conquer Washington by transforming into Freakazoid. All right, yeah, but that's all I have to say about it. Like, um, fun. It's a real fun show. Like, worth giving a look on an Amazon, not on Amazon, on YouTube, for a laugh. I only know one episode off the top of my head, so yeah. So Hop, what is your number one?
My number one is Recess.
This was this was my runner up until I remembered that my number one was a Saturday morning cartoon. So it was almost on there.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about Recess. I don't know if it was the writing or the characters or just a combination of it. It's just really good. And it feels like another show where if I try to explain it to you, it doesn't sound good. Cuz like
True. Yeah.
reading through the wiki, it's right in that it's six fourth graders hang out at recess and try to topple the monarchy.
King Bob.
Yeah, like
Well, yeah, King
that.
Bob was there. I like how each grade, like perfect, like the way they show them perfectly shows that grade. I feel
Oh
like.
yeah, the way that they felt about themselves relative to the other ages. But yeah, like if you look on the wiki, it says, yeah, it gives you the synopsis. It talks about King Bob being the king sixth grader who has royal decrees. But it says that recess is illustrated to be a symbol of freedom, where the children can express themselves and develop meaningful relationships. Which sounds boring, but that's exactly what happens each episode.
Hmm.
And I don't know, like something about the show, they also just do a really good job of going between the different characters. Like one episode I remember, there's a character named Spinelli, and they only
Hmm.
know her as Spinelli for the longest time because there's a group
Oh, I
called,
know what episode.
yeah, there's a group called the Ashleys where all the girls are named Ashley and are very like, I don't talk to you unless you're an Ashley kind of thing.
Well, they're supposed to be like the hot preppy ones, right?
Yeah. And then, like Mean Girls. And then you find out Spinelli's first name is Ashley. And then it turns into this whole like thing. She's like, I'm not like them, but then they're trying to make me part of the group because I have the name. Who am I? And it does like that whole.
Hmm.
It's not a full arc, but it's like that. I don't know. There's another line in the wiki that says, where the characters are seeking a rational balance between individuality and social order. And I feel like that episode's a good example where like she knows she's not like them, but everyone's like, "No, you're just an Ashley. We can't hang out with you. You have to go hang out with the Ashleys because the Ashleys have said that only Ashleys hang out with Ashleys." And she's like, "But I don't like girly things and I like sports and I."
There's also the episode where the main Ashley kicks a kickball and it lands in China, and I think it's like an attack. And that's when I think is Vince. Yeah, Vince is the sports character, and he's
Mm-hmm.
like he starts having like a crisis of who he is because he's the sports guy,
And
and
she
then
hits it better, yeah.
yeah, she just kicks it by accident into a military base, and then I think it comes back to that episode and we're like, what is this? So
Yeah, and I think they do a good job of doing like really different types of characters. Like they had the Tattletale, who everyone just called he was the Weasel, right? That was his
yeah.
like nickname because he had a notepad. He was like, "Oh, I'm telling the teacher," and like taking every note.
Mrs. Finster.
Yeah, but yeah, like the main characters, there's TJ, who's the I'm a public speaker, but everyone else is like, TJ, you're going crazy. You need to step back. And he's like, what do you mean? We're getting what we want. And they're like, no, 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 no. Like he gets balanced out. Yeah, Vince is the sporty guy who's like competitive and like cares about that kind of stuff. Spinelli is that tomboy girl of the group. Let's see,
She
who
has
is
a
it?
very distinct voice.
Yes, Gretchen is the super smart like child prodigy, but she like is very like particular about things she likes, and she doesn't always like get along with everybody else. Is Mikey? Oh yeah, Mikey is
Mikey's the big one.
the gentle giant.
Yes.
The whole like he's a very big kid, but he's the sweetest kid.
But he has another voice, which I scrolled down to the cast and characters, and his singing voice is another character where he has this opera singing voice, and everyone's like, that is amazing.
Oh yeah, and then Gus is
New
the kid that
kid.
moves around a lot, so he doesn't really make a lot of friends.
Yeah. Isn't he like
He's like
he's
the
like a military kid? Yeah.
Yeah, he's part of a military family. That's why he has like a particular haircut and outfit.
I just read in this thing he's exceptionally skilled at dodgeball and once feared at another school as El Diablo.
He's so small. But yeah, like I don't know, like this show, I don't know. I just felt like I don't think it spoke to me in particular, but I felt like I kind of liked the idea of seeing kids that were around the same age as me doing really cool things that were almost like what adults would do, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah. Like I also like I remember liking the TV show, but then the movie,
I don't remember if I watched the
the
movies. There's
movie,
a number of them actually.
yeah, I see that. I just only know School's Out, where it's like summer vacation and then everyone else goes to camp except for TJ and he's like at home and everyone thinks he's just going crazy, but he's like, no, I saw a laser come out of the roof of the gym and shoot the moon. It's like, and like, it's a little bit like fantastical, but it's like, it's, there's like legit character growth in that movie, to which I think, I don't know if there was seasons after this, but like, it wasn't like one of those standalone movies. Like, I feel like, if I remember correctly, there's like the relationship, even though there was still like a little bit of butting head between TJ and Principal Prickly. Like in that movie, they literally come together and like he understands like, well, no, this was after the show was supposed to end because at that point like
That's the end
they
of the
they become fifth graders.
yeah.
So, but yeah, but it was like definitely one of those things where it was cool where it's just like the whole show uh Finkley, I gotta scroll down to what their characters' name were. Principal Prickly and Miss Finster. Uh, Randall, that was the name of the kid that was the snitch. Um, and like those were your main like people that were just like they were your antagonists. They weren't like really villains, but they were always like the ones that are like, ah, how dare they? Um, but like in the movie it just shows like, no, like we legit care for you kids and we want to take care of you, we want you to have summer vacation, like we don't want this whole plan going on. And it's just like that group, I think especially TJ is like, oh, okay. And it's just like at the end of the movie they're both like, yeah, we know we're gonna be like, we're still going to like have our issues, but it's like there was like a connection, it felt like. So I don't know. I think that was also cool because like if I feel like any other show that came out that time, like adults and kids would be butting heads. Even nowadays, like the kids would be the
Yeah.
smart ones and like the adults would be idiots. And it's like, no, like there was the message of, hey, trust us. Like we're older, we have a little bit more experience, and we can help you out. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Looking at it, it looks like the movie came is definitely like the end of the series because the last episode aired like November of 2001, and the movie came out in theaters in February of 2001.
Hmm.
So yeah, and then but it does look like they did other movies. Like there is a movie called Taking the Fifth Grade, which I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't remember any of these other movies. There's like there it looks like there's a Chris. Oh yeah, it's literally says Recess Christmas. All groaned down. It sounds like the opposite of the Rugrats when they got
Yeah, or
old.
is that making fun of the Rugrats one? No, yeah.
So
It
yeah.
looks like someone wrote about the Recess as the show in a book. Looking at the wiki, saying that it's an adult cartoon passed off as children's entertainment, and I guess it really is in the same way that like if you watch Adventure Time, it's got these like themes and topics. You're like you could watch it as an adult, and you're like, oh, huh, interesting. So I guess
Hmm.
it's like how you said, like in the movie, instead of it just being the whole like the kids are smarter and have to save the world, you have that like cooperation that ends up happening between adults and the kids to remind them like, yeah, we don't always get along, but we're not trying to get in your way.
Hmm. Yeah. So it was interesting. I also really like how the kindergarteners are just tribal savage people.
Oh, just screaming.
Yeah, but like they literally have war paint and spears. And like they're like, yeah, don't go in there. No one go in there. And it's like when they become first grade, I think it shows like in one of the episodes, like a kindergartner becoming a first grader, and like, oh, hi, and they're like civilized, and they're just like, but it's like I think every time they show the kindergartners and like a teacher, they're always just being overrun and like pretty much just tied to a stick and just
Yeah,
like
wasn't there only one teacher the kindergartners didn't bully? It was the really nice lady that like was friends with the kids.
was
What
it
was her
was it
name?
the main teacher?
Fourth grade teacher.
Yeah, Grosky or I just saw it.
Yeah, it says that she everyone basically said she was a hippie.
Yeah, which is funny because in the movie she's like knows kung fu.
It says here that she also moonlights as a magician. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember all that. But yeah, no, that's like Recess was definitely a fun show, and it's like I don't remember any lessons I learned from it, but it's like it's still like I don't know compared to at least shows that I see that come out now where it's just like yeah, the theme song like I can still hear the theme song as well, but it's I don't know, it's just one of those things where I feel like it's shown like as you said like the description is good and there's no I didn't realize it took place in Arkansas uh but it's like it's definitely one of those things where it's like yeah if you explain it's like yeah it's fourth graders learning to like as they grow as people like well who wants to watch that but it's like it's
It's smarter than it
yeah
sounds,
yeah like but it's like
but
it
it's not
also
so heavy.
yeah, but I guess it's like it does show like healthy relationships, and it's just like when anyone gets out of line, like the whole group calls them out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's good stuff.
I might
Good
want to
stuff.
try and rewatch it. I don't know if I should watch all the films, but there was another interesting thing in the wiki. There was a show on Disney I used to like a lot, the Lilo and Stitch series.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, and apparently there was a crossover with Recess and Lilo and Stitch that I do not remember.
Me neither.
Pleakley was one of my favorite characters for a while. I think I just like that voice actor's voice.
Which one? Sorry.
Pleakley from Lilo and Stitch. He's
I
got
don't
like
know. Which one's that?
the one-eyed alien.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's
The
like
one-eyed alien with two tongues.
yeah, it's like it's not high pitched, but it's very like sing-songy almost, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was another fun show. The Lilo and Stitch TV show.
And it was a good branch from the Lilo and Stitch movie because they didn't try to
Yeah.
like make a show about the movie. They're just like, wait, if he's number 50 something
656.
or 656, yes. Then
It's
there's
like, you know what they wanted to make, but they're like, well, we can't. Or no, it was was it 626? I don't know. It was six something six.
but yeah, but that does leave the door open for like so many other experiments.
Oh, and then there was the other when the evil scientist is like, they're like, wait a second, what's this one? It's not in a database. He's like, oh yeah, that's like 627. You made another one. He's like, I'm an evil scientist. What do you expect?
Is it the one that eats sandwiches? I forgot what number is the one that eats sandwiches.
That's the one I think right before him. The one right after him is literally better at Stitch at everything, except when you tell a joke, no matter how bad it is, he just dies laughing.
I would make that for myself. So when I feel bad, I tell joke and he just laughs.
But like that's how they beat him is just like Stitch or it's just like or it's just like failures. So like the way I remember Stitch beats him is that like he just like does
Is
like
it slapstick comedy or something?
yeah pretty much slapstick where he just like whiffs like terribly and just like falls on his face and like punches himself and like all this stuff like not really hurting himself but the dude is like just dying laughing and he just like sneaks up and puts handcuffs on him
Yeah.
so he can't break out. So yeah,
So many good shows.
yes.
All right. So I think I can guess your number one since you already kind of little hint of it.
Do you want to guess?
Is it the DC animated series?
It is a DC animated
Oh, it's
series.
a DC animated. Because you already mentioned the Batman one for a childhood one.
Well, guess what? It's getting mentioned again.
Did you just? Oh yeah, we couldn't remember what your number one was. So offline we had a discussion like, is this going to be too close to childhood cartoons? I was like, well, my definition for Saturday morning one is a little different, and all of mine were like on Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, so I think I'm fine. And we could not remember your number one.
Yep. Well, guess what? It's getting mentioned again.
Batman animated
Batman
series.
Beyond.
Oh right, there is a Batman animated series. Sorry, but
Yeah,
Batman Beyond is a different
Batman
one.
Beyond. Um, yeah. So if you guys want to hear talk more about it, go look up the childhood. I almost said video games. Childhood cartoon series. But yeah, Batman Beyond is great. Like since we just got off talking about relationships, I guess this Batman Beyond I feel is another good episode, a good show that shows relationships between two people, because like everyone knows Batman, like, or I shouldn't say everyone, but like I feel like anyone that looks at superheroes or anything knows Batman, and then looks a little bit into DC, realize Batman is really bad at families. Like he like there's the Bat family, and they're just like all over the place. They all at different points hate him pretty much, and like it's pretty much like Bruce is like, well, I'm gonna take these orphans under my wing and help them pretty much get revenge, and then pretty much like let's like let me help you like grow as a person. Which turns out, when you have a broken person that goes around and punches people in his off time as billionaire superhero, probably isn't the best like example. And it's like Batman Beyond, Tim, not Tim Drake, something Drake. Is it Tim Drake? Oop,
Is that the
scroll
one?
down. Terry McGinnis. Tim Drake is another Robin. um, but yeah, Terry McGinnis, he's older. I would say he's like maybe sophomore. He's in college pretty much, and so like he's not like, and like he's in the future and understands all this stuff, but it's like he's pretty much this punk kid, and like he pretty much by accident finds the Bat Cave, and it's by pure accident, and then like he pretty much like tries to convince Bruce, like, dude, like, can you help me and all this stuff, and Bruce's like, no, I'm flipping old, like I'm 90 years old, man. Just let me let me rot in my mansion alone. And it's just through Terry like pretty much constantly annoying him in the first episode, even to the point of stealing the suit, that kind of forces Bruce to pretty much like go back on his thing, because it starts off like where this is probably one of the issues that I have with the Batman movies now, where like some of his gear is literal guns,
Hmm.
and like Batman, like, and it's just like, no, like Batman is super not okay with guns. And like there's a part in the comic where he has like Superman like is going crazy, and like he gives him this kryptonite bullet, and he's like, if I can't be controlled, I give this to you because I know you'll be able to stop me from going nuts or whatever. And so while he's like grappled onto Superman, flying like almost into a building, he's still like, do I really want to pull this trigger? Like, because this goes against everything that I am. And in the comic, and sorry, in the Batman Beyond, it shows that where like he's just old and can't keep up with villains, and punches a dude and then grabs the gun and is about to shoot the criminal. And he's like, yeah, this is against everything that I am. I'm no longer Batman. And then Batman just disappears until 20 years later, which I think the creator said Batman Beyond is always 20 years in the future, no matter what time period it is.
Always 20 plus.
Yeah. So, um, and then he meets Terry McGinnis, and like it's a very similar story where like he didn't get both his parents killed, but his dad dies, which it's very unclear if his parents were together, or if they broke up or divorced or whatever. It's not very clear because they both live in two different places, and it might have just been like just an overlook in the storytelling. And but but pretty much like through he gets Bruce Wayne. Like Bruce Wayne just sees that and he's like, fine, we'll do this one case. And then at the end of the thing, it's just like, you know what, Batman should probably come back. And so the whole, not the whole show, but it shows it a lot in the first season, is this progression of trusting each other and training Terry to pretty much be the next Batman, while like Bruce learning to trust, and then these other villains that from Bruce's past start to come up as well. And it just shows like how Terry is different from Bruce, and how like Bruce needs to realize that and not try to force Terry into this Batman mold that he built up for years. Like the movie shows this really well because the Joker comes back, and like that's spoiler territory that I don't want to get into. But it's like there's the big issue where he tries to face the Joker like Bruce would, and it doesn't work because he's not Bruce. And so he's just like, he pretty much just out Joker's Joker by telling jokes and going around, and gets Joker like just super pissed off because he's like, this is not Batman. He's like, I'm not Batman. And then and then I think they dropped like the title, and he's like, a Batman Beyond, and like just whatever.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. But it's one of those shows that I believe is just shows good character growth between two people. And like as it goes on to the comics and stuff, it continues that. I don't think season 2 and 3 really show a lot of the character growth, because it kind of went to like, oh man, villain of the week, and that's kind of where it ends. And so, but like the first season of Batman Beyond, I think is just really really cool. And it shows like that trust and everything. And the other neat thing is that the voice of Bruce Wayne is the voice of of Batman in the original, like not the original, but the Batman Adventures, Kevin Conroy. So like they got him to come back, and it was pretty neat. Like it's just a really cool show. Like I can see JR just like, he's like, yeah. but but I already talked a lot about Bruce Batman Beyond, and I honestly couldn't remember, and I was like, I probably should just listen back, but I didn't.
It's fine. But I also just realized the time. We might not actually have time for quizzes this week, which is fine because we couldn't find a good one.
There wasn't any that I was really sold on. We talked a lot about Pokemon we talked a lot about a lot of stuff, but it's like, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well then, so do you want to just do the recap on your episodes?
Yeah. So first we did the worst ones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My dishonorable mention was Digimon because I'm biased. My runner-up worst was Smurfs, and my actual worst was New Adventures of Madeline. For my best, my third place was Pokemon. Then runner-up Scooby-Doo, and number 1 Recess.
All right. And oops, sorry. I was trying to move the thing while you were talking. I messed up. My bad was Pokemon and Digimon. Actually, sorry, those got switched. Cubix was my runner-up. Pokemon and Digimon were my number 1 worst ones. Followed by Freakazoid as my runner-up best, and Batman Beyond as my best. Hey guys, I'm just gonna say, if you even care about my opinions, Batman Beyond made it my number 1. I might be biased, but I'm okay with that. So, are you moving it now?
I can do this.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
All right, so now's the part where...
Oh, yeah. Well, I lost, so I roll, right?
Yeah, so in this part, we get to roll more dice. For anyone that isn't familiar, we roll a d10 to see what our next voting topic is. We know that Beatles songs lost last week, so now that's competing against.
This Beatles has lost twice, so this is the last time for Beatles. And oh boy, I rolled a 5, so we are talking. Well, we are voting about robots.
Your favorite robot could have a robot. I will
Yeah.
not judge. No judgment here.
I realize that's like a an inside joke for my channel because when I was playing Near Automata, everyone was like, "Do this thing, she explodes," and then it's like pretty much her dress disappears, and everyone's like, "Now you can see her butt." And I'm like, "I'm not here to look at robots. I'm here to swing swords." So whenever I would play Near Automata, I would be like, "Time to play the robot game." So yeah, pretty much after this episode, we will have a voting topic over at Pointless Disco, twitter.com/pointlessdisco, where you can vote between Beatles songs or robots. Um, and yeah, should be a great time. Um, I don't remember if there's anything else we say at the end.
Okay, yeah. So thank you everyone for listening in to another episode of Pointless Discourse. If you ever want to keep in touch with us, I guess the easiest way is either we both stream on Twitch. If you would like to, if you listen to this in an audio format and would like to participate like live with the audience, you've heard us kind of bring in things from chat as the stream or as the recording's been going on. We air this Saturdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch, and we set up a multi-stream so you can see both of our chats going on at once for that. Otherwise, if you have any feedback, like we did give Dizzy a shout out in the beginning for mentioning us on Twitter, which we always appreciate. We'll be sure to shout you out if you want to, add us on Twitter with anything about the episode that you thought was great. Or if you leave any comments or reviews, we'd also love to see screenshots of that because we don't know how to find them. And
that being said, I think I did learn how to get it actually on iTunes, or like there's something that we would probably have to do. So I'm gonna look into that. Hopefully, might be something I have to do after I move. But
yeah, and that's fine because I know I'm behind. We also try to upload these episodes onto YouTube if you prefer the YouTube format, but I've been very much behind on that, and I apologize. But yeah,
okay, life happens.
yeah. So also any comments on there, we would also be kind enough to shout out. And yeah, I think that's most of our wrap up. Like DPayne said, we'll have our poll up on Twitter for you to vote for our next topics, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Yep. Bye bye.